In this video, I'll show you how to solve the ALEKS problem called identifying the limiting reactant in a drawing of a mixture. This problem is going to give us a balanced chemical equation and a drawing that corresponds to the reactants of the chemical equation. And then we have 3 questions to answer about these reactants. So the first question is asking us for which one of these 2 reactants. We have H2 and O2. Which one do we have the most of? It's asking specifically about moles. This drawing is giving us pictures of the individual molecules, but you can always assume that the number of moles is definitely proportional to, or definitely corresponds to, the number of molecules. And that would also be true if you had a reaction that had atoms in it instead of molecules. So it's not asking us to count or calculate how many moles we have. It just wants us to figure out what do we have the most of. So I'm going to count up my molecules here of my red molecules. I've got 4 of them, and of the white molecules, I have 6 of them. So the thing that I have the most of initially is the white molecules. The white corresponds to hydrogen, and that is going to be my H2 gas. It is important here that you enter in the chemical formula from the balanced equation. Don't just write in hydrogen. You need to put in the H2 formula. Now, the thing that we have the least of, obviously, that's going to be our other reactant. The other reactant in this equation is O2. Now, last but not least, it wants us to identify the limiting reactant in this equation. I'm going to define limiting reactant. The limiting reactant is either going to be the molecule or the atom, depending on the type of chemical reaction you're looking at. The molecule or the atom that you will run out of first. So as you're performing this chemical reaction, which molecule, in our case, we just have molecules, which molecule are we going to run out of first? Now, most people's instinct is to assume that the thing that we have the least of is the limiting reactant, the thing that we'll run out of first. And sometimes that is true. Sometimes that's the case. But it's not always the case. So don't assume that the substance that you have the least of is also your limiting reactant. It totally depends on the stoichiometry of this chemical reaction. So we can see from this chemical reaction that we need 2 hydrogen molecules for every 1 oxygen molecule, and that's going to have an effect on what substance is the limiting reactant. So let's just go like this. For every 1, based on the chemical reaction that we're looking at, for every 2 hydrogen molecules, which are the ones in white, I'm going to use up 1 oxygen molecule. So these 3 substances are all going to react together at the same time. And let's do that again for another set. For every 2 hydrogens, I'm going to use up 1 oxygen. And we've got a little bit more we can do. For every 2 hydrogens, I'm going to use up 1 oxygen. And then I'm done. I have, at this point, even though I have more oxygen left, I have run out of hydrogen and I cannot continue to perform this reaction. So my limiting reactant is the H2. And again, that is because I can use up all of the H2 molecules that I have available to me, and I'm still going to have leftover O2. The reaction is going to stop because I have ran out of H2, and I run out of H2 before I run out of O2.